Okay, we are back to the Henny and Norm show, which is quickly becoming the Henny show, but I'm kind of used to that in my childhood. I think Norm can agree with that. Yeah, so we were going to start talking about my step-grandmother.
Okay, but you got to understand, Kenny has two grandmothers, really. He's named after his maternal grandmother, who's Norman's mother.
Paternal.
Yeah, who's Norman's mother, and my grandmother. But then his grandfather remarried this woman, Ruth, who became his grandmother, step-grandmother. Anyway, my mother used to come over every week and babysit and be there and blah, blah, blah. She introduced him to coffee every morning. He would have a little cup of coffee in a whiskey shot glass. I don't know why she did that. Anyway, that's what got him hooked on coffee. But the other grandmother, she was a balabooster, first of all. But
Why
she
don't you
also
explain what a balabooster is?
somebody who makes everything perfect, and the
In the
food
kitchen,
and the
in the
clothes
kitchen.
and the kitchen and serving people and everything like that.
The kind of person just pisses you off.
Yeah. Anyway, so I invited them over the house for dinner. Okay, and Kenny must have been about 5 or 6 years old.
But let's back up for a second. Wasn't there some history before they came over?
Like what?
Like maybe she thought that you guys set me up to this? Like maybe you guys weren't getting along perfectly?
Oh, no, that comes afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they come in the house. Now, my mother-in-law, my stepmother-in-law, she was a blonde. My father-in-law had a thing for blondes. Anyway, she was a blonde, but she had big red lips, makeup, and her eyes were always like sharp blue and, rosy cheeks. So she kind of looked
She was, I'll finish that. She kind of looked like a clown. This was the closest thing to a clown that you were going to see. I mean, I would put her up against Bozo and we would see who would win.
Okay, and the thing is, Kenny was afraid of clowns, so she walks in with
I wasn't scared of clowns until that day when I saw a clown. It was only after that I became scared of clowns.
Okay, so you get the gist of it. She walks in to go give Kenny a kiss, and he runs, and he locks himself in the garage.
Well, can you just describe this person in all this makeup, and can you imagine
She's
them trying...
about 4'10", wearing these stiletto heels, and I'm telling you, she had red lipstick on and red cheeks.
I was about 2'1", and I'm looking up at this thing coming after me, wanting to hug me. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to run.
He ran, and he locked himself in the garage.
But then he
Well, I never heard the end of it. We set him up to that. She was hated and blah, blah, blah. My father-in-law was like, unbelievable. Everything Ruth said was God's written thing. You see, we didn't like that my father-in-law got married right away, and once he got married, of course, we were forgotten, and her children were the ones that were taken over. And then comes another incident. We finally get Kenny out of the garage after they leave. I mean, he stayed in the garage about 4 hours.
I was terrified. She was terrifying.
And he locked himself in. We couldn't get him out. We couldn't open the garage door. He locked himself in to both doors to the garage. We couldn't get him out, so we left him in there.
It would have helped that she kept on coming down and trying to get me out of it. I would have forgotten about her had she kept on trying, because she's just Miss Perfect, so she kept on saying, come on out. And I'm just like, you're going to eat me. What are you supposed to do here?
It was so anyway, so then about 2 months later, we were invited to her daughter's house for dinner. And we're sitting at the table, and Kenny was sitting there. He didn't move. He didn't want to have anything to do with her. But the plate gets passed around, and it's a brisket. And good old Norman there decides that this plate that's being passed around is his dinner plate, and he puts it down in front of himself, and he eats it all up.
So
I
if you-
never got a chance to go around to everybody else. I was so embarrassed. I thought I'd crawl
So that-
under them.
So they're passing the dinner plate around. We're supposed to take meat
A
out.
piece of meat.
And it got to you, and
He was about the fourth person. He put it down
For
and
it.
ate the whole thing.
And what was everyone else's reaction while this was
They
going on?
just looked at him like, are you not going to
Did nobody not say anything?
I was trying to tell him, piss it.
Was
I
it, but the fact that nobody asked for it, was he just like hovered over like a lion that had just gotten his kill?
I passed it to him and put it down, and he just started. And I'm telling you, Norman, no, that's there, no, pass it. He didn't listen to me. He just kept eating until there was nothing left. Nobody else had anything to eat. I thought I would die. Well, you know, we were never invited back. I mean, in the, I guess, 15 years or so that
That was the last time?
yeah, that was the only time. The last and only time we were never invited back there. We were invited to their bat mitzvahs and stuff like that we had to be invited
Where
to.
they serve single plates?
Yeah,
You-
but we were never invited back to their house.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, but my mother-in-law invited me to her house, my stepmother-in-law, a couple of times. And, you know, at that time, everything was colored furniture. She had blue furniture.
I remember-
the blue furniture.
What about her daughter? Everything was pink. The whole
Pink and red.
everything was pink. The walls, the furniture, her clothes. You
Pink and
walked in, you
red.
thought
Pink
you were
and
in a movie.
Pink and red.
Pink and red.
Pink and red. But that was only the one time we were there. We were never there again.
How do you know she wasn't just trying it out?
I don't know. I don't. Maybe she was
She
trying.
used to throw
But
on
her
all the-
daughter
Maybe she was
also-
trying to impress me.
No, her daughter also. I think she's still alive.
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, she also wore the heavy makeup. How
Yeah,
come you
that's-
weren't afraid of her?
What?
How come you
He was
weren't?
old.
I was afraid of her, but I could only choose one enemy.
Oh, okay.
You know, but yeah.
Anyway, but that's his grandmother and his reaction to his grandmother after, I mean, he saw her at the wedding when they got married, which of course we had to beg to get invited to.
But what was the occasion? We didn't get invited. The kids weren't invited to the wedding.
I know they weren't. We brought them anyway.
Wait, I don't mean. You just brought. I remember the argument that we weren't invited, but you just brought us without an invitation.
That's right.
Why did they seat us?
It was buffet type of thing. It wasn't anything big. It was in the temple. I mean, it was, you know, it was their getting married. It wasn't their kids or anything. It was just, you know, it was in the temple and they didn't want kids there. But of course, her daughter's kids, which were older, they were allowed to come. But my kids, which were little and one was in a carriage, no, they couldn't come. But we brought them anyway. We said, if my kids don't come, we don't go.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things
And
that
then they
went on.
said, "Great, we'll save $50 on food
Yeah.
because he's gonna eat them all."
A lot of things. Needless to say, when they moved to Florida, it was like, okay, a lot of, and then was it Kenny's bar mitzvah or Bennett's bar mitzvah? But that's
Oh, it's
another,
Bennett's bar mitzvah.
that's another story.
Yeah, let's not. Well, I won't go down there until we consult with Dad if he wants actually that on tape. Anyway,
Yeah.
if you
But
want,
my father got even with me. He died on my birthday.
Yeah, isn't that terrible?
why don't you tell the story about your dad and his brother about when he thought he
But
passed
that's
away?
another story.
We can
That's
lead
a-
into it. We can go. If you want to hear about this story, you tune in because he's gonna tell. This is a good story. Remember, subscribe to the channel, hit like, share it, follow.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Well, we're gonna start the second story right now, but we're not gonna show it in this story. Okay.